Oh, we doing?
We're opening the meeting, that's what we're doing. Good evening and welcome to Newburg R2 School Board meeting for March 16th. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thinking about 2 hours. It's only one time.
Almost got it there. Everyone's here. The roll call, Amy, so have a full board. Approval of agenda, so if you're all happy with the agenda, I need a motion to approve as written.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. whatever, Brookshire. I lost it for a
That one guy.
Yeah.
Second.
Mr. Brookshire, Mr. Birdsong. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. We have no public, so I'm assuming that means no public comment. We'll move to the consent agenda. On the consent agenda is the minutes from February 16th. And then we're going to add the other minutes too from the 9th, the 13th, and the 14th for special meetings.
The 13th and 14th are not in
In
here,
there
but
yet?
the 9th is.
The 9th is, okay. But I saw in there.
It's labeled that it's in
It's labeled that it's in there. I didn't open them. No?
No, those are your agendas.
Those are the
In that
agendas.
packet.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're approving minutes from our last open meeting and then also our special meeting from the 9th, correct?
I'm going to double check it.
Okay,
One second, let me go in here.
and our financial statement.
I'm sorry, you're approving the minutes from February 1st, the special board meeting, and that was when with the mayor consulting. And then February 16th board meeting, so the 1st and the 16th.
Oh, February 1st.
Yes.
Okay, when we met with him the very first time.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Very good.
motion.
Motion, Mr. Thompson.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Melfield. Everybody else good? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Approval of the bills. As you saw, we're paying photo glass for most of the doors that they have all put in, so that bill was
Yeah,
over
that's,
approved. Months ago.
that's out of bond.
That's out of bond money.
And how are we looking? I know this doesn't really fit here for approval, but how are we looking on our bond stuff? Still on track with everything? I'll make a motion to approve for bills.
Mr. Birdsong, motion to approve bills. Need a second?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Melfield. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor? Raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Ready for reports? Mr. Clark, why don't you go tonight?
Yes, sir. Elementary professional development, our pathway to reading consultant returns next week to work with our K-2 teachers. Elementary ELA teachers have continued working with the Missouri Reading Initiative this week. She was here for the PD day and then 2 days. Excuse me. And some of the teachers will attend another letters training later in the month. The elementary staff started doing some planning and have some committees working on things for next year, looking at some curriculum and some needs assessments. I attended the MAESP conference, was able to collaborate with some of the Frisco League principals and listen to some great things from some of the other elementary schools around the state. DESE presented the new reading legislation and confirmed some of the requirements with a promise to have everything completed before August. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. But this legislation lays out some mandatory after-school tutoring requirements, mandatory summer school requirements, and possibly mandatory retention, all based on assessed reading levels if students are below grade level. Our elementary after-school tutoring program finished out on Tuesday. They had a pizza party for the students' hard work. Miss Mercer and Miss Shockley to put this together because we were anticipating this legislation coming into effect, and so it was kind of a pilot for us to do this tutoring program this year, so we have a good idea for what we need to do next year. The Society of Women Engineers came and conducted some STEM activities with K-3 students. They're planning on returning 2 more times this year to work with maybe junior high or high school students. And Read Across America Day, we had a huge turnout of soldiers from the fort. We have some soldiers that come every month and meet the kids. But for Read Across America Day, we had, I don't know, Mr. Shell, what do you think, 20, 25 soldiers? I mean, the hallway was packed, we had to go get more chairs.
Just keep coming in.
Yeah.
There'd be a group of 5 or 6 of them, and here comes another load. Come on in, we'll find a place for you.
Our current enrollment in the elementary is 204, with pre-K to 5th grade attendance at 91.56 and 6th grade at 92.4.
Any questions, Mr. Quest? Mr. Town?
In FFA, we had 2 kids that were going through the process for their state degrees, and they have been selected to be approved for their state degrees in April. So that's exciting. And of course, the career development and leadership development contests are in full swing. And we've been having active participation these last couple of weeks with them. High school beta, they competed at the state convention, and there we had Kayla Coughlin in social studies, Allie Roach in 5th place in pencil drawing, and then the banner took 1st place, so Newburg gets to compete at the national level at Louisville, Kentucky this summer in all 3 of those areas. They are currently setting up for fundraising to help pay for that trip, and then they are also planning on participating in Newburg Days. Yearbooks are still on sale, $25, and our sports pictures are at the end of this month, the 31st of March. In band, we had 17 students who participated at the Junior High Frisco League band, and then we also sent several students for the district solo and small ensembles this past weekend. In our counseling department, we have 13 students signed up for WCC next year. We have 13 seniors with acceptance letter, 15 have applied, 2 are committed to the military, 6 are going to a tech school, and 7 have committed to a university. And then in athletics, the girls Class 2 District 9 All-District Team MVP was Akayla, Taylor Brookshire and Mary Rosa. The KJL Area All-Star on the girls' side was Akayla. And then the all-conference girls basketball team was Michaela and Taylor with an honorable mention of Mary Rosa. Their season record as they closed out was 16-8, and their conference record was 6-2. And then the boys side of things, the boys Class 2 District 9 All-District team, Colton Pound, KJL Area All-Star Colton, and then the all-conference boys basketball was Colton. Their season record was 17-8, conference was 5-3, and then as you guys know, baseball has started with their practice, and their first game is Monday night in the Stoutland Classic versus Lakeway at 5 p.m. And I wanted to put a plug in there for parent-teacher conferences are this Monday from 1 to 4:30 and then 5:30 to 7:30. And then our high school numbers, we are sitting at 201. 7th and 8th grade have an ADA of 88.33%, and 9 through 12 are sitting at 91.23%.
Any questions, Mr. Talon? Mr. Strand, is those the first two?
Yeah, those are my
State
very,
farmers?
very first state degrees. So Eli Birdsong and
Not
Gabby.
State farmers anymore.
Yeah, state
I'm
degrees.
Sorry.
All inclusive, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, two, Gabby Pasha and Eli Birdsong, and they'll get awarded those state
So, I'm
degrees.
sorry, who'd you say they were?
Eli Birdsong
Okay.
and Gabby Pasha,
Okay.
and they'll get awarded those state degrees on Friday night at state convention in April.
What was the point cutoff this year?
They actually changed point cutoff. It goes to, it's a solid 550. So it's solid 550 across
550
the
all the
board.
time?
Yep. A couple of years ago they changed that. So we don't fight the points anymore. So
I want to give some kudos to Ms. Strain because I know how much work goes into that. Especially, I mean, the kids have to do the work, but she did a ton of stuff for that too. So she's done tremendous with her FFA. It's really stood out over the past year and a half. So she's done a great job.
what'd you
A
say?
little bit of pressure sometimes.
Yeah, it's all
Especially when
right.
you get all those ag teachers in the room, they all have their own thing.
Yeah, they do.
I don't understand them out there, right?
They don't, you gotta get 550.
No?
Yeah, it's still pretty well.
550, huh?
Yeah.
One was the 600s.
hmm And we look at I serve on the state degree committee on the state level, and so they show us the results of when it was down to 400s and up to 700s. So,
Six something.
but we felt like a 550, as a MVATA, felt like a 550 set an even goal
Okay,
for our
so-
students to work towards.
They still put the caps on all the
Yeah, there's still caps
four
on.
levels. or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And enough of that, sorry.
That's all right. It's a lot to it. It's way more than I ever thought would be, and
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
Mr. Shaw, your turn.
Well, I'm going to start off. I want to see if Mr. Clark will come help me, Mr. Talent. If you didn't know it, this is Board Appreciation Month, and so we wanted to show some appreciation to you guys, and the students have put together some thank you cards, and then also your snacks. If you want some snacks, you are welcome to any of these. Now, I will warn you, these are not good for sugar.
What is it?
Unless you're low. It's
Fresh shrimp.
Yeah.
Sure it's not shrimp.
I don't understand. Somebody show up over here.
This guy. Thank you.
So if you're diabetic, you eat that at your own risk because the
Mrs. West,
sugar content is
I gotta
high.
thank you for hiring Mrs. West.
That's a new student. She's like, I was trying to tell them the board hires teachers, and they hired and today's my birthday, so they were trying to celebrate. I think so. In my defense, I think that's what I did not pay them anything to write that.
I walked in her room and they started writing my name down. I'm like, guys, you're not getting extra points. I don't know what you're doing.
That is awesome.
You never know what the kids are going to say.
No, you don't.
201.
Because he wrote, I think you need to send your voice programs for 2 years. It's like, I just copied the exam. That's the problem. I said, wow.
Mr. Talent, do you know what our numbers are for 9 through 12? Because you don't have, it's not.
got it?
Hey, you can. I just didn't know if you knew.
He's looking at
So
it.
tell me.
That was one of
Yeah.
yours.
Thank you.
So, also in the spirit of appreciation, we wanted to give Miss Nita a plaque for her appreciation for all your years of service to the board and to the schools. So Miss Nita, I'm
Who did that?
Miss Nita.
Was it white? No, no. We just like to see.
It's going to be a reflection of you.
Thank you, Dave, for all the years. And not just teaching, board too, so.
Steve.
Honestly, what's it look like? What's it look like?
Hold that picture up real quick.
Yeah.
Is that what you're supposed to
Am I
write?
supposed to pat you on the back?
No, I didn't get to see
Such a
it.
great job on doing your card.
I did
No
say,
idea, but your penmanship needs some work.
oh, I didn't say he was good at that. I just know he's a good drawer. He can't run nothing. Yeah, he can't write nothing to save
Write the
it.
short bus?
Did he drew, that was a fifth grader that drew that
Is that
one.
the number 4 in that?
He's really.
Does it have the number 4?
He gets those, he's good.
This match,
Get in
did you do
trouble.
this one?
No.
No, I was gonna say it matched your
It's
shirt.
been a couple years, hasn't it?
Yeah, see, my graph paper shirt.
We'll move on.
It's all right.
Keep going. Let's go on to facilities and construction. We didn't go to the report yet.
Well,
Hold on, Mr. Shaw didn't do his part of the
You're right, he did.
superintendent.
Yeah, just
Slow down, slow down.
Sorry.
just a couple things I was
Cutting you off.
want to let you know about. So I told you that APR is no longer embargoed, so that score has been released statewide. We are at a 66.2, and that will be our baseline for the new MSIP program. Yeah, the MSIP 6. So to put that into 66.2. To put that into a little bit of perspective, the median score in the state was set around the 77, 76 point something, so somewhere in that neighborhood. So that gives you an idea of kind of where we're at compared to the rest of the state. Probably the biggest area I would say for us to focus on improvement on is academic achievement portion, those points for that part of it. There are some things that we, as we take the raw data and look at our CSIP and then plugging those into that strategic plan of how we can improve those things, because a lot of those things are already in our CSIP, you know, that are those areas anyway, so we were already aware of those areas we needed to improve. One thing I do want to say, just bear in mind that this score, it's a totally different system than any other MSIP that we've used before. So this score, you can't compare it to a past year's score. It's its own.
It's a ground zero.
It's a ground zero. It's its own new program. So we'll as we get into next year, then we'll begin to work on improving that. Moving that score forward. So, well, actually, now we are working toward moving that score forward, but we'll have those results next year.
Did we happen to compare it to Frisco League?
Not the entire Frisco League.
Just-
So I do have comparisons for the South Central region, which is schools, Rollins to Waynesville to K-8 schools. So
How's that?
The lowest was a 61.9, and the highest was a K-8 with a 98.8. So that was the only score in the South Central region that was in the 90s.
Okay.
I have a question for admin, is I had heard that you were gonna do a rework of our schedule, that we might see that in January, and we haven't seen that yet, so I was just curious where we are with that.
Go ahead.
Ms. Caffey and I and Mr. Clark we've got it worked out. They've been running models through it, with students. So far, everything's working. Of course, we've had to tweak it twice now.
I'm sure, yeah.
But it's looking pretty solid right now.
Good, good.
Yeah.
And when we get down to the calendar, I'll explain a little bit about the World Monkey Wrench into that too. So, but it shouldn't change the course offerings.
All I'm saying is Mr. Shaw promised us we'd see this at the end of January.
The schedule.
Everyone said promise. I don't remember promise.
I got on to him for that. He said, I didn't say that. No, but we've had students, she's went to different classes and had them start for next year. And then we've had staff that I've randomly picked classes that they would want to take to make it have to be difficult to plan.
Yeah.
And so far, Ms. Constance, you were part of some of that. So far, they're working.
Good.
Wouldn't you say?
Good. That's good to hear. She doesn't want to mess up the
She doesn't want
microphone.
to talk, so they don't hear.
It's a good thing she knows sign language.
Thumbs up, that's what she said.
The only other thing I would add, if you are interested, I have a list of how the vote went for the open enrollment bill that passed the House. So if you wanted to know how the representatives voted for our area, I've got that list if you want to see that. We will see what the Senate does with it to know what preparations we'll need to make there. But so it has passed the House and
It's halfway there.
on the Senate. Yeah.
Well, kind of halfway there.
Yeah.
They predicted to pass the Senate this year or not?
I've not got a strong no, yes or no either way. And it was not in the House either. It was real close. And so it was going into it. Everyone that I talked to really didn't know how it would. I mean, they had a pretty good idea. You know, when they start counting those votes, you know, and seeing, but it was pretty close. I did talk to a few representatives about it, and we didn't agree on everything, but they did listen. So that was something.
That's all you can do sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't always agree with me though. So.
Anything else, any questions? Okay, we'll move on to facilities and construction. Mr. Shaw can continue as far as updates for us.
If you haven't been by the ag building, it looks a lot different in there.
I looked in the window when I drove through yesterday.
It's amazing what a little sheetrock does. It just changes the looks of things, yeah. So they are, I believe, tomorrow or Monday, going to start mudding, and we'll be ready for paint in there. And the storefront is put in for the kitchen area. The glass is not in there, but the wall has been installed.
Yeah, it looks very nice, I think.
Looking forward to continue to make progress there. Electricians are all caught up with what they can be at this time, so that's good too. The doors, Steve and Rex were here today, and all of our doors are fobbed except for, we still have one door to install in the ag building on the front out there. And then the new breezeway doors, St. Robert Bias has to come back and do a little bit of repair work. During the installation process, one of the doors cut the wire, and so they got to come back and fix that part of it so that the fob system will work on it, and fix a latch on another one. But other than that, all of our doors are fobbed. So
The rear gym door,
rear gym door is fobbed.
it is also
Yep.
awesome.
Yep. Both of the new and the old gym. So
Good.
Did you find anything to put over the old gym door that you guys talked about to keep the sun from?
No, we haven't put anything in there yet. We've kicked around a few ideas. I don't know.
Work in progress.
There's work in progress. Yeah.
When they have plays or something.
Yeah, the latest stuff, sun that come through there.
Headlights,
And it covers the paper, tape all over it.
You could do some, you should be able to do blackout curtains or something and get pretty good out of it. I don't know if you guys would.
Well,
The electricians putting lights in the upstairs of the ag building, you know?
Yeah,
Yes.
they did.
They did.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Strange.
Yeah, because it was
Sorry.
That's Miss Strange.
it's dark up there.
When I walked up there, we couldn't see anything.
Just about fell over everything up there.
It's a little better now. It looks a little better. When the lights came on, we sorted it.
It's fine.
How many times did you go up there and not know the lights were there?
Once. Once. I came back down, lecturers was like, you know there's lights up there now? And I said, no, I didn't even look.
You should not be.
And I talked to Dylan the last time. Well, I should say the last time we spoke. He's waiting on go. Everything's good to go. Just getting the right weather to put that down. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be wintertime this weekend.
Can't be too cold or too wet, and that's
Well,
we got.
We're right there right
That's all
now.
we have right now.
We're talking some snow flurries tonight.
Anything
It's no day.
Anything, Mr. Schultz?
So that was bad, I think I'm pretty loud.
Thank you, sir. We're ready to go to our first action items. You should have with you the revised 23-24 school calendar that we tabled from last month. What differences did you make? What did we change from, went over that real
So,
quick?
we were able to put in a full week at Thanksgiving and a full 2 weeks at Christmas. But in doing that, we lose the Friday for Veterans Day in November, and then that moves the 15th of December, the last day of the semester, to a full day rather than a half day. There'll be 2 half days in that schedule. The 26th of January, which is homecoming, and the 24th of May, which will be the very last day of school. With that, it puts 64 days in our first semester and 84 days in our second semester.
What, 64?
Is it?
66, isn't it?
No, it's 64. Yeah. The numbers that I gave you the other day were too off because we were going by this down here.
I was going by that.
No, I was too, and so it's 64. 64 and 60, or 64 and 84 first semester and second semester. That's a total of 148 student days. The only Monday that we would go to school would be the very last week of school in May. Now with that, so I told you I was going to put a little wrinkle in the schedule. We had to increase the length of the class periods so that we could get enough time in that first semester. And so to do that time we pulled from the wolf time that's in the middle of the day and then spread out over those classes. So second semester, we've got plenty of days to do that, so it's not as...
So what's the minutes?
It will be 57.
Versus
50 minutes. It's 59.7, so basically 60 minutes, but that's what you passed on.
That's with pastime, yeah.
And that's, and how much are we now?
We are at 50, with pastime, we're at 54 right now.
So 5 minutes difference, roughly?
Roughly, yeah.
At 60 minutes?
Yeah, pretty much. And that's just the first semester, and will you switch that back after semester or run that the whole year?
No, that'll run the whole year.
Okay.
Yeah, that won't change. In that scenario, though, one thing to remember, if we had any snow days in first semester, we would have to extend the semester into January. It puts us right at the cutoff. So if we had a big snow, and it's something that we typically wouldn't do, but it has been done before to accommodate for that time.
It's a pretty tight schedule.
It is very, very tight, yeah.
So let me ask you this then. What if, because what is it, the 15th we get out of December, is that correct? What happens if you go, and it's not a lot of difference, but what happens if you go to like the 19th or 20th, the 20th or something, 21st, and then extend Christmas break and come back those 3 days later?
Yeah.
The first week or whatever, however that works out in January.
To keep the time,
Yes.
the total length of time the same, but push it into January a little bit.
Yeah.
That's possible to do that.
Instead of coming back on the second, come back like on the 4th.
Yeah, so I don't know the popularity of that, but what if we went to the 22nd
Yeah.
and then we didn't come back until the 9th?
Yes.
We've got some fans in the audience.
Just as an idea, that would give us more days then and less in the second, but we still get a full 2 weeks off at Christmas.
Does it have to be?
No, we don't have to do it tonight.
And that's just me thinking, that's just my thoughts, throwing it out there. But that still gives, because I think the staff is really set on 2 weeks off for Christmas, which I don't blame them. at all, but that still gives us a solid 2 weeks, correct?
It goes to 9. Don't put it to 9.
And then with Christmas on Monday, that gives us the weekend for, you know, you got a full day before even Christmas Eve if you travel. So, or even you leave Friday after school or something, if that's the case. We may have a little kid this Friday, but I don't know, just spitballing. So we're not tight, because if we miss a day and we have to start carrying over to when we come back in January, that's not good. And as soon as we do this, it's gonna rain bucket, or snow buckets in December.
Yeah.
And there we are, so.
Which if it, I mean, do keep in mind, though, that could be a possibility in, anyway. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
But if there was
we would
no
have-
wiggle room
yeah, so,
in the.
I don't know, that's just, because I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days, and, because I really hate to come back in January, on like the 4th or something. I mean, it does kind of get the kids back in swing. You're kind of waste those days, I think, those days for 4th and 5th if you do that. And then, but you'll have them ready to go on the 9th, so, I don't know. The 9th is a Tuesday. We would just come back to normal schedule.
So you could be day on the 8th like you had planned anyway.
Yeah, and then just hit the 9th and go. So then that's gonna make us, what is that, 7-8 days closer each way?
That'll put four more days in.
40.
Yeah.
That'd be 66.
So then we're gonna shrink the other one by 4.
68.
66, right?
68.
What'd you say? Oh,
64. And what was the second one, 84?
86.
Yeah, 84.
84, so we'll go to 80. So it'd be 68 and 80, so then we're not as far apart.
And you'll have some snow days in the
Yeah,
second
that's-
semester, so.
That fits us better, I think.
Normally.
It does make it a little tighter on Christmas, but we still have a full 2 weeks.
Testing window is in second quarter also.
I don't know.
The testing window takes up 2 weeks of the second quarter, or second semester.
That's true too.
So it's lost instruction days.
Yeah, as far as compared to instruction days, it gets pretty balanced.
It takes a full 2 weeks.
That's what Waynesville's doing, they're coming back. I think on the 3rd.
And this coming year is a little
The calendar.
different because the way the holidays fall.
Yeah.
I think with having a full week of Thanksgiving, moving that first week of Christmas break to later January, actually, probably, in my eyes,
Well, we're only going 12 days, well, 10 days. 12 days of school after Thanksgiving on this current calendar, so that's not very many
Yeah,
days.
well, yeah, from Thanksgiving.
You know, and this year we did come 2 days of Thanksgiving week, and I know that Monday was the sacred day, so don't mess with Monday. And I agree with that. Leave Monday alone. So then you only come for Tuesday, so you can't do that, so you just will take the whole week. So I get that. But then getting off December 15th, just pretty early.
So if we push that to the
you
22nd.
guys like pushing it back?
I like going to it later and then coming back later.
Makes December
Make
Go
the
to the
last
24th.
day,
What's
last
that,
day
Mr. Clark?
be the
makes
22nd.
December more productive.
Go to the 24th.
That's what I'm kind of seeing.
I would rather lean towards a way that we wouldn't take that semester into after break. So if that
Yes.
could keep us away from that, in my opinion, I think that's.
So last day
one of-
of semester would be the
So
22nd.
if we're just we're all good with that.
So we have some wiggle room, like you said.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, we can move.
If everybody's.
Now,
if everybody's-
will that keep your time the same if you did that? And you want to mess with your time?
The class.
I like to do some pencil work.
What days, how many, 68 days?
Because would that make it where you wouldn't have to add your 5 minutes to your class time?
Let's just see, hold on just a second.
Doing math.
Oh, Lord.
How many minutes class time, 54?
That
54?
works.
So we could stick,
61.2, so.
we could stick like we are then
60.
and not change the.
Not change the-
Yeah, we wouldn't change the length of classes. Yeah.
Sorry?
I think that's the direction.
I think, yeah, that feels good to me.
Now, only problem with that being is if there is a snow day in there.
We would have a little bit of
you
leeway,
still go,
but-
you're
right?
still going into January,
Even by going to the 22nd?
I think so.
You just have, you have like one day.
Not, by not changing the time.
Yeah, I think one day.
That's local. So you got 66, you said?
We had snow days in
I
December.
don't want to go off that because you know it's going to hit us whenever we say, we don't ever have that. Because that's when it's
Don't say
Yeah.
That would give us one day?
One day of leeway.
Okay. Because bad thing is like Halloween time is bad for
I
ice.
did 60,
65?
67.
Yes,
I'll be 67.
we're gonna have to go. Power through, whatever. Carry it back up.
63.
So we're good, gives us one
It
day.
gives you one day, yeah.
That's better than no day.
We got one day that we could have a problem, that's just not bad.
And then we're more equal.
And also, this one has all the days built in too. So there, you don't have to make up those snow days.
If we can miss 10, it'll still be okay. It's worth making, still get out.
All right, I'm good.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
You give that, Mr. Cal?
I like the semester finishing
Here,
before
so it doesn't
Christmas.
matter.
I like the semester finishing before Christmas because
Yes, it needs to.
WCC
Needs to,
has
yeah.
went that way also.
Do we know when Waynesville's last day is for next year?
What day is that?
Waynesville's last day for the semester?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's 19.
It would be the,
They get the first, second, and go back to the third.
The 20th.
early release on December 20th.
So they'd be
So they're
close
close to us. And then they come back the 3rd with kids?
It has to be a full day.